So yesterday we were talking about turning the Michigan banner into a pillow and putting in a zipper. But when I got working on it last night, I decided not to turn it into a pillow. I'm going to make simply a banner out of it and bind it and then put a sleeve on it. But the gal that I was talking to bought the zipper jig because she wants to do pillows and put the zippers in. And she likes to buy the 3-yard zipper lengths. So I told her today that I would still do how to put your zippers together with the zipper jig. Now, I have to confess, I have purchased really expensive zipper jigs that cost me $95. This one is $16.99, and it works better than my $100 one. I kept doing this last night because I said, this is a no-brainer. So on your zipper jig, I don't think you can see it, but it does all different sizes. It does a 3, the 5 will do a 4.5 and a 5, and that's the size of your zipper tabs. That's the size of this. So I'm going to come around, Gabe, so that, because someone said before about doing
it from this angle, and we'll see what we can do here.
So you want to have this side with the numbers facing you. On your zipper tab, if you'll notice, you have the top side where it's double-sided and the bottom side where it comes out single. So you need this to be this side up, but the back to you like this. So we're going to see, there's the double, and we're going to simply put that in the slot like this. So that's what it looks like, back and front. Then you're going to take your zipper teeth, and because the back of the zipper is to you, you want the back of the zipper tape to you. You're simply going to come in at a slight angle, and there you are. That's it. Let's do it again. Make sure that it's in. This is...
So you're not actually putting the zipper. I want to make sure we get a full view. You're putting the tab on the back, right? You're putting the tab on the back. You're not running the tool through the slot where the zipper actually goes.
So you can actually do it's just like this. And that tab just stays out of your way. So then I have both ends, and I'm just going to come in at a slight angle. And look at how even they are on the end. And you just keep going. And if you want to add more, you pull this apart and keep adding your zipper your zipper tabs to your zipper. That is the slickest tool. And those of you who do bags after bags after bags, this is perfect. So I've seen people do it with a fork. I've seen people try to do it with a towel holder. I've done all of those. But this, for $16.99, it's slick. And we have purple and teal in stock. So those are available online.
Which makes it really nice when you're buying the zippers by the yard.
Yeah.
So we sell the 3-yard zippers, and I think there's 6 pull tabs in it.
I think there's 8.
There 8 pull tabs in it.
There's 8 slides in it for 3 yards.
For 3 yards.
And you can do double-sided. You can make a double-sided one. Okay. You do one from one end, cut your zipper tape, and turn it around and do it from the other end, and both zippers will do a double pull for you. The only thing is, when you're doing that, you have to be very careful that you start both ends at exactly the same time, or you'll end up with a buckle in the middle.
Okay.
So this is super cool. You know those little things that give you a great deal of joy? This is one of them. I know that sounds...
Now you're just going to be putting zippers together.
I'm going to put zippers in everything. All right. The banner. Let's talk about the banner. I went and finished up the banner. And again, when I was putting this on, I went by the diagram. Careful, Gabe, the iron is hot. I went by the diagram to position these pretty much by measuring here. There is no instructions that say measure 4 inches from the bottom or 6 inches from the top. So this is where you get to be your own artistic artist on this. And you're going to layer them. You're going to kind of judge. You're going to kind of swoop your bridge through, lay your tree on. And then once it's done, make sure you use your applique pressing sheet over the top of this to fuse it down. I did run in, like I said last week, if you overpress, you're going to lose some of your glue. So on my antlers last week, I lost a little bit of my glue. They didn't want to stay down. So I actually had to use a little bit of the 505 to hold it in place. Then I just straight stitched these down. So if you can see, I just straight stitched. This is a good one. It's just a kind of a contrast. I did not do the blanket stitch. So you have a choice. Blanket stitch, straight stitch, or a small zigzag. Some machines don't do a blanket stitch. You may not like the straight stitch. If you're doing a bench pillow and it's going to be used, you're going to want to do a zigzag or a blanket. Now the blanket stitch, I don't know if that'll show up, Kate. Can that show up right there? That's a blanket stitch. That's where it takes the stitch along the edge and then it goes in, comes back, goes in, back. So that's a blanket stitch. This is a little teeny zigzag she did here. So you have to determine, there's no instructions in there, but you do need to do some kind of stitching down. I found that I had thought originally you wouldn't have to do that. If you're putting it behind glass or acrylic, you don't have to stitch it down if you're going to have it framed. It doesn't have to be stitched. It does take a little time to do this. So once you have it done and you have it stitched, let's back up and talk about needle and thread. So I went through a lot of threads and experimented with them. Isocord, embroidery weight isocord. This is a nice thread. You have your Mettler Polysheen, very nice, a little heavier. And then I have some Invisifil. Now we don't carry Invisifil, but I am seriously thinking about doing it because look how fine that is. This is like almost super fine. And I know there's a lot of quilt shops that do carry this. So I'm going to think about getting a small display of this. I have starter packs of this at home. And I was thrilled with it, with working with it. So what I did was I used my Polysheen and my bobbin. I used one color. I put the Invisifil in my top and I lowered my tension so all the extra thread was pulled to the back. So you can see here. Oh, don't look at the back. It's really bad. So there's my back. See, I just used the basic white in the back, but it pulled all those top threads to the back. And yes, I do back stitch. So where I stop and start, I did a little teeny back stitch. You only need 2 thread back stitches. If you have one of the newer machines where your foot floats, that's awesome. A little tip here, wherever you're turning a point, leave your needle in the down position to turn. Anytime you're going to turn or you need to move, make sure that your machine is programmed to stop in the down position. So when we're going around some of these curves, when you're going around, say this curve here, just make sure that your needle is in a down position and you're going to float and turn. If you don't have one of those, Gabe, does your 880 float?
I don't know. I just do straight stitches with it right now.
But when you stop, does it come up a little bit?
The presser foot?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's really cool. On the newer machines, when you stop and your presser foot just comes up, it doesn't go all the way up. It just comes up a little bit. That's perfect for doing applique for turning. If
I don't have the knee lift in. If the knee lift is in, it stays down.
So my old 1630, which I know I've got to upgrade, I use my knee lift. I have used my knee lift forever. I will never give up using my knee lift. Needle down, use your knee lift to lift your foot and turn. Put it back down, sew, lift, turn. That way you won't get any pulling or any stretching of your applique. Even though it's fused down, it can do that. Needles. I used a Microtech 10 sharp on these. You want to use the smallest needle that will accommodate your thread because you're going through your fusible. You don't want a great big hole that's left by your needle. So on some of these, you can see where I put in a new needle. Where did I put it? I put a new needle in on this white right here. And you can see that there's no holes. Here was the original needle and it started making holes. It doesn't look bad. It's fine. But if you're doing this, you might as well learn to do it correctly. The new Smith's gold embroidery needles are fabulous. Unfortunately, I didn't have any left at home and I had to go back to my Microtechs. The regular embroidery stick needles are awesome also. If you don't have those, then use the Microtech Sharp because you're going through your fabric, you're going through the glue, and you're going through your background. You want a nice, sharp needle. The smaller the hole, the better quality of your stitch. I learned that the hard way years ago. I was working on a big piece of canvas on an industrial machine and the stitches kept pulling and I was using an 18 needle and I called my dealer and said, why is the tension not holding? He said, your hole's too big. The threads don't lock tight. To me, it doesn't make sense. If they're locking, they're locking. I went to a 14 needle, which still went through the canvas very well. The stitches locked and were balanced perfectly. So the smaller the needle that you can get a good quality stitch without your thread fraying or breaking, the better you are. Just common sense. But some people don't know this when they're doing applique. Needles, thread. So
is the 10, is that a 60?
No, the 10 is a 70.
10 is a 70.
No.
Which one's the
80, 12, 70, 10. Yes.
70?
And then the 90 is a 14.
Okay.
So there's double numbers on here. Some people may not realize what the double numbers mean. It's the European sizing and the US sizing. The European sizing always does the 90 or the 80 or the 70, and the US sizing is the 10, 11, 12, whatever. That's the way they're made in Germany, so that's the way they mark them. I don't know. It's not my thing. Again, choose the thread that you want to use. If you want to use a little heavier weight, if you want your stitches really to show up, then use a little heavier weight. If you want them to disappear so that the actual project pops forward, use a lighter weight thread. The number on your thread, 30 is heavy, 40 is going up, 50 is going up, 60, 70. The higher the number, the finer the thread. In your needles, it's just the opposite. The higher the number, the heavier your needle. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just wanted to point that out.
They do thread different than they do wire. And
yes.
Yeah.
It's because actually it's not the weight, it's the tensile strength of the thread that they're measuring. That doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not an engineer. So, okay, so we did the needles, we did the embroidery. All right, when you have that all done, I took a scrap piece of batting that I had. I took a pretty piece of the Michigan fabric, the Michigan county fabric, and I layered them. The next thing that I did, and I'm going to show you on this end, I layered them all out, got it all done, and then I ironed it. I ironed it in place. I ironed it to my batting. I turned it over and ironed it to my batting. That gives that nice, smooth, we'll just go ahead and do it. Just gives it a nice, smooth, gets all the wrinkles out. Just go over it. I don't want to heat set it too much because I'm on my new cutting mat. But look how flat that lays now. Okay, then I'm going to, oh, I missed a step.
Back up.
Rewind. Back up. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead on my notes. So one of the things that you need to do before you put it on your batting is you need to trim up your top because now you've got, your salvages are still here. You have all this that's raw edge on the bottom. So you can take a ruler like this, or I just had the 12-inch ruler. Oh, it's right here. You can take a 12-inch ruler, and this is pretty cool. So what you're going to line up is this background line. So I found on a line on my background, and it doesn't show up well with, so we're going to bring it over. So I'm right on that white line. I'm right on this white line. See where it is? So I followed my background all the way down, and I trimmed this to this background piece. That makes this perfectly even from your middle to your edge. And it doesn't matter where your applique is because it's going to float beautifully. Then I went to this side and I did the same thing. Again, I lined, yeah, that's a great idea, Gabe. I took this and I lined up this line. You can see it right through here, but I paid attention. Oh, it's right on too. Look at that. And I trimmed all of this off. So when you've got that on, you want to make sure, and then you're going to trim up your corner. Now, if you don't have one of these big rulers, then use your 12-inch square. You can do the same thing. So I lay this on, and I'm going to find my line. Let's turn it around. And there it is. I'm right on the line again. Nope, the white line. And I'm right on my line. So you make sure, so use the ruler you have as long as it's this wide. It's going to be difficult if you don't have a ruler that's at least that wide. And then you're going to do the other side. So find a line. And this one again is on the white line right through here. So you're going to measure from this line to your edge and you're going to trim it up. Okay, that's pretty cool. This big ruler is Gabe's favorite, my favorite. The staff uses it for Christmas. One year they all asked for this for Christmas. So this is the great big 12.5 by 24.5 ruler. He can't ship those.
I can. It's just you have to call the store because I get charged extra for shipping on
those big ones.
On anything over 22 inches.
So now you have your top trimmed, and I know it doesn't look like it's square on here, but I'm not worried about that. I've pressed it in place, and now I'm going to 505 it. So this is my favorite product. I've been using it for 30 years. It's a temporary basting spray. You have to be careful of overspray. So if you're working on a very beautiful table, make sure you put papers down or a pressing sheet down.
If you don't have newspaper to put down, use a piece of cardboard, break open a cardboard box. Yeah, that's what I use on the long arm is I break open a cardboard box so that I've got the flaps and the tabs. And I'll actually, if I have to baste a quilt onto my machine, then I actually put that back in there so that it catches any of the overspray because you definitely don't want that on your machine.
No. And I don't want it on my wool mat stays up pretty much all the time. So I spray right on that. So I always make sure that there's something covering it. Then now it's pressed. You're going to take your 505. I don't know if there's any left in this one. I'm going to peel this back. And I already did this side. See how it's already stuck? But it's temporary. So I can actually pull this back. See how nice and stuck it is? And then I can I don't have to respray, but I'm going to it's like Pam on a frying pan. Then I'm going to gently, I'm not stretching, I'm just gently patting it down in place. If you need a little extra here, spray into it. This does not gum up your needle. Trust me, I have used so many products.
Does it wash out when it's done?
Yes, it will wash out when it's done. I'm never going to wash this, though.
Right. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you happen to get it soiled or if you get some on the top and you need to clean it, it will
wash out. But you have to use regular washing, and it will stay. If you don't get this done within the next couple of years, when you go back to doing it, it will still be basted. Trust me. I had a quilt upstairs in the closet. And someone came and asked for a donation quilt, and it was perfect. I hadn't gotten around to quilting it. It was spray basted. We got it done. All right. So this time I'm going to show you the full thing. I'm lifting it back. I did it to halfway, and I'm going to just spray baste. And I don't have a lot of overspray. I'm not going out to the edge. All right. I'm going to start in the center, and I'm just gently, I don't want to stretch my banner. Look how nice and flat that's laying. Okay, I got to do a little bit more. I'm almost out. And now I am going to have overspray because I do not want this on my cutting counter. Just typing paper, all that junk mail you get in the mail. And there you are. Then I do the same thing for the back. I do the same process on the whole back. I do it in halves. If you're doing a quilt this way, a lot of you like to do your smaller quilts yourself on your domestic machine. Divide your quilt into quarters and spray it that way. Then turn it over, put your back on, divide it down, do it in quarters. That way you don't get a lot of overspray and you'll get it nicely put in place. So again, this is stuck. You can see that it's stuck. Okay.
So as far as toxic to breathe, I would not use the glue in a confined space.
No.
Most of your glues, I don't care what kind of glue it is, even the non-toxic ones can have an odor to them that can cause some breathing issues and stuff like that. So if you're going to use the 505, use it in a well-ventilated area.
Yes.
Yep.
So can I tell a funny story?
Well, we're running out of time.
All right. Okay, that's all right. Years ago when I was teaching for Scott, he had a very small closed-in classroom, and I had like 12 ladies all over the age of 60 in the classroom, and we were all spray basting with no windows and no doors open. And these ladies started giggling and laughing and telling stories that would make a sailor blush. And I said, uh-oh, we got a problem. These ladies cannot drive home. So we opened up all the windows and we aired out the whole place and they were fine. But well-ventilated area, please. All right, let's talk a little bit about embellishment. I really wanted to get into this a little bit more. So I used a chalk marker. You can use a chalk pen. You can use a chalk marker. Eyeball where you want your threads to be for your bridge. Now, you can do this by hand with crewel thread. You can use embroidery thread. You can go back and you can use a heavier weight thread on your machine, and you could do a cool back stitch to stitch all of these lines in place. Then when that's done, you can just take a damp cloth, or some of your chalk is heat set. It'll just iron right off. Again, on your windmill, I've just etched these lines in because that's what they show on the pattern. These I will do in matching thread. If you want to get really creative, how about putting crystals on? So you could put some crystals on here. You could put the clear
crystals would be great for the bridge because of the lights.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, and then we have all these other colors. You could just put some gold in, the gold of the eyes. Here, let's just show what a few of these might look like on here. So if you put just some of these crystals like they decorated wouldn't that be cool? So these are heat set crystals. When you put these on, all you do is put them where you want them to be, cover them with your Teflon sheet, and heat set them for 45 seconds. Perfect. Okay. I think that's it. I'm trying to think if I miss anything. Let me check my notes. Okay. Spray, pillows. Okay. I am going to put a really pretty red binding on this. I think the red will really frame it. I'm just going to do a traditional binding on it.